Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you're all doing well. And today, my friends, we're back with a showdown between the Sons of Sigmar and the Ogre Kingdom. So it's going to be Boris Todbringer bringing the Power Mustache against the Slaughtermaster. Poor Ogre Kingdoms really only have one viable Lord choice, which is pretty sad. It's either the Slaughtermaster or a Noblar, which then turns into a Slaughtermaster once you summon them from reserves. Please, Creative Assembly, give the Ogre Kingdom's lords a little something something. But nonetheless, it is going to be a spear, spear build. We got spears. You do want to mix in some swords, though, because sometimes Noblars can be spammed, and spearmen take like 10 years to kill Noblars, so having a couple swordsmen doesn't hurt. On top of that, a couple cannons in the backfield to counter lead belchers and iron blasters. We got Boris, we got a light wizard to slow down the ogre mobility and keep them from getting on top of your valuable missile pieces. And this is for you guys. A little bit of spice, not necessarily the most competitive choice. So the build in general, I would say, is pretty good, but this guy is certainly an X factor. But he shoots hard with his pistol, hard armor piercing, and honestly, accusation isn't a bad debuff even against units you're not shooting, right? It lowers their physical resist, their melee defense, and their armor. Not bad, right? You get Boris Todbringer attacking something, accuse him of heresy. What's not to love? So that's going to be the build. Pretty basic stuff. Now, for the Great Flying Taco, I certainly was not expecting this. I was expecting lead belchers and, maybe a little bit of range, scrap launchers, but he is just straight up bulls on parade. Ogre bulls into the sunset. It's going to be a million Ogre bulls with Noblar, Slaughtermaster, and Firebelly for Burning Head, which is really good for actually clearing out state troopers. But I absolutely love the build. When I loaded in, I thought I had a pretty wide army. I was like, I got 12 units. It's pretty thick. We have a fair amount of state troopers, but he literally has as many ogres as I do state troopers almost on the battlefield. So it's a little bit scary, man. Sabertusk is going to be coming in from the reinforcements. We'll do a little bit of fast forwarding while the two armies posture. So the first thing I do is summon in Pistoliers. They're really good against Ogre Kingdoms. I actually think better than Wagons. Wagons are quite good in most matchups. I would say they're very, very good utility, but Pistoliers, obviously a little bit quicker. They can stick and move, and against the light armor of the Ogres, which are typically, more lightly armored, you don't need a ton of big armor piercing on the Wagons. And I just think the mobility of these guys is pretty useful. So being chased by Sabertusks, unfortunately, they do nibble down a couple of my brave Pistoliers in the back row there. We get a little bit of DACA. We pull ahead in value, obviously. Pretty insignificant amount, though. We do also use a Shaman's Burning Gaze on the Light Wizard, just going to be trying to snipe the Lord a little bit. Try and butter him up here, and Boris Todbringer jumps in the back. Sabertusks do overextend. They get shot by Huntsmen. And Boris is a really good leadership bomb, because basically Crush the Weak lowers leadership, and on top of that, Blood Roar. So he can lower leadership by up to -12, which is a lot, very substantial. So Toddy, man, such a strong lord. I can't tell you how many battles and games I've had won by Todbringer just kind of getting in there. So what this game's going to be is me getting stuffed by a massive ogre push, and then having to push out in time, essentially, to get the objectives back. That really is if somebody's kind of playing the style like this, they're going to be throwing, everything at you, and you'll have the advantage of the home field. You can see we already break a couple ogres. One ogre bull here is on death's bed. The other ones here are going to be wavering. So multiple ogres broken. Nice burning head there. Very, very good. And the witch hunter is going to be running about, just, pointing at things, yelling heresy. You know what we all love about witch hunters. They're such a cool unit. And if the Empire had more caster lords, if they had someone outside of Balthazar Gelt, not Lord Metal, you would actually probably be seeing witch hunters way more often. So Empire Knights do get a good charge into the Ogre Bulls on the side, Spearmen holding it down. And you notice that every direction that Toddy goes, it basically breaks the leadership of the Ogres with Crush the Weak and some of the other support he has. Certainly very, very nice. Cannon still shooting and getting good work in. Ogre Bulls diving into the backfield very, very heavily, but we have Spearmen, we have more Empire Knights. For the most part, we are trading pretty well in value, but again, he's got a double cap and soon to be a triple cap, I would imagine, as he'll probably send someone over to that side objective and maybe a Noblar or something. Who the heck knows? So Cannon's partially compromised. They're not shooting at the moment, but they're still very much alive. Huntsman going to be pulling back while the Empire Knights of Sigmar continue to pound these Ogre Bulls and chase them around. But the pressure is pretty relentless. There's Sabertusks coming, there's Noblars, there's all sorts of nastiness coming my way. And just trying to get these cannons back online as he even gets into combat with the Noblar scrap launchers, which honestly are pretty hard to get rid of. Of course, Flying Taco, one of the lords of the Ogre. He's probably the only Ogre Kingdom's main out there, straight up. I was talking to him, I'm like, dude, you're the only person I know who mains Ogre, so we'll see you in pretty much every faction war as the Ogres player, because you're the only one. Pistoliers, able to kind of reform ranks and get some good shooting, but Taco has penetrated pretty deep into the battle line, so remember, he does have healing and I don't. Toddy here, though, very nice. Rear attacking many of these Ogres. Hopefully we'll be able to get some leadership breaks, but you can also see my poor state troopers and Empire Knights here are really, really at the brink of their limits, or being pushed to the limits, I should say, as they are forced back by the giant Chungus monsters here. So it's a very, very messy fight. Shem's Burning Gaze going down. Toddy's going to be going fisticuffs with the Slaughtermaster here while the Pistoliers continue to rotate. The third objective, thankfully for me, has not been taken, but currently the Ogres are racking up points from 2 objectives, and I'm currently getting none. So certainly not great. One cannon still online, the other cannon online, which feels pretty good. Huntsman forced into combat with Noblars doesn't not so good. And doesn't feel great there. And Spearmen continue to push up with Empire Knight support. Empire Knights are the way to go here. They're really good. You can honestly go Reichsguard Knights since Ogre Bulls don't have a ton of armor piercing. You could also go Knights of the Blazing Sun to clear things a little bit quicker. Honestly, all the Empire Heavy Cavalry and or Kislev Heavy Cavalry, I would say, are very viable in this situation. So one of the cannons is going to get taken offline. Pretty unfortunate. Flying Taco also using a Burning Head because he knows if the cannon crew does end up running, he's going to be able to kind of hunt it down pretty effectively, right? So, yeah, there's a nice break right there. Cannon crew wavering on the brink of leadership. And here, Boris Todbringer trying to battle the Slaughtermaster, but he does have the backing of a Firebelly as well. Firebellies are pretty good fighters who actually have really good armor piercing, so despite the damage I'm getting on this character, the Firebelly is a big AP character too with really good stats actually. 400 plus weapon strength, basically a mini legendary lord. So I'm, not killing his character as quickly as I thought I would. And he's actually equalized the value, which is very, very bad for me. I'm pinned on the back foot, so he's been able to get some effective trades and get on top of my cannons with his just massive swarming. So obviously he took a beating initially, but once he was able to swarm effectively, just the numbers saturating into my lines, it got pretty messy. But, Sigmar has come back from worse. Knights of the Blazing Sun, not here. No, these are Empire Knights. They had some golden shoulder pads, so it kind of fooled me for a second. But no, they're the Zintler's Reichsguard. That's why they don't look like Empire Knights. But these guys are going to be the heroes that Gotham needs. We summon them from the Vanguard. Get a fat flank on these guys. Pushing into the Ogre Bulls here as swordsmen continue to move up. State Troopers finally starting to push the Ogres out of the backfield a little bit. My cannon crew on Hammer the Witches just gone kind of on vacation here waiting, while Todbringer finally does get the upper hand of the duel. So this is going to be the big turning point here in this game in terms of momentum, as we do actually break the Ogre Lord. Boris Todbringer, obviously a much better fighter. The Light Wizard's going to be chasing down the Ogre Lord, actually using a net on this character to make sure it doesn't get away, because even in retreat, the Ogre characters do have a lot of speed, but it looks like he actually turns and fights when he's netted, even when he's broken, which is very strange. But nonetheless, he's got 400 HP. Toddy's going to get the job done, but still, a triple cap is imminent as some trappers are moving over there, and it is going to be a very, very tight push to get back here, guys. In the backfield, cannon crew still hustling. I did summon some pistoliers, or I had them retreat back here to try and fight off the saber tusks that are pushing into my lines. This was a misplay. I accidentally attacked the saber tusks with the old Hammer of the Witches crew. The big plays for me, for sure. But Toddy is just basically moving around, terror routing everything, and certainly living up to his name. I know we call him Toddy, but Todbringer actually, I think, in the tongue of the Empire, or I guess Germanic languages, means the Deathbringer, right? You guys correct me if I'm wrong, but it does mean Deathbringer, which sounds way more badass. But we all call him Toddy, and he's kind of become a bit of a meme from that video. I think it was Game Grumps did that. Really funny stuff. Nonetheless, swordsmen moving up. Was it him? I don't know. You guys let me know who it was. I can't remember who originally did that video. I do summon some Huntsmen from the Vanguard. They get a decent little shot, able to rip into the side of these Ogre Bulls, but Flying Taco responds very quickly with his Walmart Chariot. But we're slowly starting to take back some ground for Sigmar, but we are really, really behind on points. Zintler's Reichsguard and Empire Knights are basically serving as sweepers, just cleaning up any Ogres that they find. Typically, Empire Heavy Cavalry is one of your best tools against Ogres. It just does so damn well. But this is when the big guns are coming out. We haven't seen the Flying Taco Special, which is the Sky Striders, but we do see the Mornfang coming in. And these guys will beat up Empire Heavy Cavalry well. Granted, I have tools against them. I can accuse them of heresy. I can attack them with Todbringer. It's some tools, all right. Very, very close fight, though. I'm only up by about 600 value, but at least we are up in value now and not down to the pits where we were before. Hammer the Witches crew has come back online, so they are going to be re-equipping these cannons for Sigmar, and they're going to be lining up their shots on that Mornfang Cav unit coming in. Really, really got to lock them down. So the backfield is finally cleaned up. For the first time in this game, I'm looking, and there's no Ogres back here, and I have to tell you, that certainly felt very good, because they were just totally trolling me this entire time. More Noblars coming in, and the Reichsguard Knights and Spears trading well, and we will be dropping a net, if I'm not mistaken, on the Mornfang Cav here in a second, to try and keep them from getting too deep into my battle lines. But the Reichsguard Knights just get absolutely pounded by these big Ogres. Like, this is not going to be good. They have some cool tattoos on those guys. But the Hammer of the Witches back online. Empire Knights going to be cleaning out the aggression, so the Noblars moving in, trying to shut it down, but they are immediately lanced by those big couched lances, and now they're going to be moving over, going after the other Ogres. And the Mornfang Cav, though, they have a nice opening for my backfield. Boris Todbringer and some Spears and the Witch Hunter and Empire Knights able to push back most of the Ogres, and we start to get a little bit of capture weight here, but here comes the big pressure as the Mornfang Cav are on their way in. We get the clutch net to protect our Empire Knights, otherwise they would have been just blasted by that big charge bonus. Hammer the Witch is going to be trying to get some picks, and Toddy and company will be coming over. Empire Knight's going to be charging into these Ogre Bulls, which are unsupported right now, so they should take a lot of damage from the charge. Even though Empire Knights don't have a great charge bonus, 50 still isn't insignificant. So desperately trying to fight and get the points back on the other side. I summoned in Sterling's Revenge, but I did not see his Noblar Trapper there, and Noblar Trappers will trade incredibly well. And at the end of the day, the Sterling's Revenge would win, but they cost twice as much. So it's really not an excellent trade for me, but I got to start playing for the triple cap because I'm super far behind, so it's really going to be tooth and nail here. In the back, Silver Bullets have emerged. We summon in the Silver Bullets, and they start ripping big shots into the Mournfang Cav. Nice play by Taco. He does use Butcher on these guys, which is one of the biggest heals in the game. So it's really, really good on these high HP units like that. The percentage-based healing, it really, really gets a lot of value. Unfortunately, Saber-Tusk pack leaking into the backfield. I do summon in Pistoliers because I didn't have any Empire Cav in reserve, so I basically have to summon in some Pistoliers, but the Hammer of the Witches crew is going to be falling, so that's a really, really nice pick for Taco. However, Toddbringer's minus 12 leadership. Telling you guys, so good. We're able to route off like a 1,200 gold cav unit. Actually, I think they're 1,300 or 1,400, and just leadership bomb them off the battlefield, which was an amazing value swing for us. But we're still struggling to get these objectives back. On the bottom, you can see that we are just barely winning this fight. I mean, it's really close. The leadership alone might keep the Sterling's Revenge in there, but yeah, it looks like it's pretty even. Nobbler Trappers are one of the best units on the Ogre roster, like hands down. So incredibly strong. So here, we are pushing back the Saber-Tusks. We're going to be getting the home objective. The Witch Hunter kind of just been scrapping, and over the course of the battle, I did use the Accusation nonstop. He's gotten about 500 value, which isn't terrible, but the Ogres are now going to Helm's Deep on their back objective and try and deny me objective 3 for as long as they possibly can. Here, we do get some Pistoliers as well as Sterling's Revenge pushing up, so maybe we'll be able to get a little bit of capture weight there. We'll have to see. And Toddbringer and company are going to be moving to 1, backed up by the Witch Hunter. And in the backfield, we do have the dreaded Hammer of the Witches, which has been enduring this entire battle. Taco and I were chatting in Discord. He's like, oh, that Hammer of the Witches is still alive. How's that possible? It's like the most... these guys have been eating their Sigmar. What is it called? Wheaties, I think. It was the Wheaties box back in the 90s. But more Ogre Bulls coming to troll me. Silver Bullets turnabout face, rip a couple shots while the Pistoliers run interference on these guys. Side objective, though, we're not quite able to get it. I do send my Pistoliers in to try and block the Ogres from getting there, but sadly, the Sterling's Revenge and the Pistoliers are not quite able to get this objective bet yet. I do have some Huntsmen coming in, but the Saber-Tusk packs are going to be a big problem. Granted, Free Company can maybe fight them for a moment, but overall, Saber-Tusks do hit really, really hard. They're absolute beasts in combat. They're like Walmart Corn Fleshhounds, which is still good. Corn Fleshhounds are one of the better units in the game in general, like cost effectively. So if you can be a Walmart version of the best unit in the game, hey man, you take that and you wear it as a badge of honor. So really, really behind now. In terms of troops, summoning in 2 spears here. So the spearmen will eventually get there and probably get that objective, but will it be quick enough, guys? As Toddbringer continues to goon things, chasing this is a mistake. Scrap launchers have a lot of HP, and just having Toddbringer terror route things is really what I want at this point. Unfortunately, no grenade launchers. You know, you don't really think to bring them against the Ogre Kingdoms. I think I had 1 in reserve, but yeah, it's not something you think about. But, you know, clearing out Nobblers is very important, and the Empire, like heavy cav, I guess, can do it, but grenade launchers are certainly the other alternative. Couple Pistoliers overextend here and do get attacked by Saber-Tusks. Toddbringer and the Spears getting a leadership break on the Nobblars. In the meantime, our Huntsmen may be able to break the Saber-Tusks. Pistoliers, unfortunately, having to do a lot of melee fighting this game just because they don't have enough heavy cav. But the Huntsmen, it does buy a little bit of time for them to shoot into the Ogres. But still, it is nasty business, as these Huntsmen are going to be forced to run back. As far as chevrons earned, they've done about 1,200, and that was mostly in their first life. So Huntsmen are obviously a staple against Ogres. They're really, really good. But here are the Pistoliers. Silver Bullets in the back trying to fight. Ogres are actually pressing my home objective a little bit, but you can see the sustained fighting from Toddy and the fact that the Ogres don't really have any leadership or big fighting characters is starting to come into play as the Witch Hunter. Look at that. Toddbringer, the Witch Hunter, the Priest, as well as the Spearman. That's a very, very Empire moment here. Let's see if the Witch Hunter is going to do some epic Sigmar karate. They're known for their karate kicks all around. I love how like sometimes you'll see like a fully armored like dwarf warrior and they choose to like Sparta kick something instead of actually using their weapon. It's hilarious, but yeah, don't ever change that. That's hilarious. I love it. But this objective looks like it could flip for us, guys. We do have Toddbringer, the Witch Hunter, and company, but the Ogres are really good at spamming out cheap, fast, high capture weight units that take a surprising amount of time to get rid of. Here we do get the grenade launchers coming out, so the grenades will start blasting into these filthy goblins here. And you can see that will do some okay damage, and now they'll turn about face and actually get the appropriate shots. More spearmen on their way up and state troopers. But it's taken me a little bit too long to get this side objective, guys. You can see the points are getting really, really tight. I'm definitely going to get this one. The spearmen will move there, and you know, if I had another 3 minutes, maybe, but it's not how the game is played. You know, he really, really pinned me back. His whole strategy was focused around, you know, that pin. He probably knew he was going to lose out on value eventually being in my home field, but still, it was a cool build, and it kind of caught me off guard. I'm really used to like lead belchers. I've had somebody do like an Ogre Tide spam on me like that in a long time, so that certainly would make me rethink the build. I still maybe would just go Hammer of the Witches, and you'll notice in reinforcements, I only had like 3 cav units, which was a big mistake. I needed like 5 to really, really push out there. The War Wagons were also dead weight. Replace those with Empire Knights, and I think I can sweep the Ogres a little bit quicker. That was the problem. The Empire Heavy Cavalry were just so good, and I didn't have enough of them. So GG, well played. Super good game. It was really fun. You get to see the power of Toddy. Got to see a Witch Hunter. A little bit lackluster, but one of the most iconic units in Warhammer Fantasy, so we got to use it. And the cannons, maybe just the Hammer of the Witches would be enough. I don't know if you really need the double cannon. It does leave you a little bit vulnerable to being swarmed and pinned like that. But yeah, GG, well played. That was a really fun one. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that Duel of Fates. And well played to Taco, man. See you guys next time. Take care.